much like the Oakland sound, you deserve a lot of props in the hip hop community because some of your drumming, especially tracks like "God Made Me Funky." I mean that stuff is some of the heaviest sampled stuff in hip hop, especially in the early days. And I was wondering, do you remember when you first started hearing your music sampled, or when you first started hearing hip hop come around?
Well, I remember when there was a guy named Dougie Fresh that was a hip hop
Oh,
artist or
he's
a rap artist.
legend.
Yeah,
One of
he
my
lived. Well,
favorites.
yeah, I used to live in Harlem. He lived a few blocks from me, and somehow I'd meet this guy, and I realized that he used some. Finally, somebody said, "Hey." I said, "Hey man, I met this cat, Dougie Fresh, and yeah, you're on some of his tracks." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, what?" And then from that, I went out with Herbie Hancock for a year in 1999, I think, or '98, something like that. And his one of his money man, I guess you know, somebody who handles the business aspect of his stuff, became a friend of mine, and we were talking. He said, "Yeah, man, did you know that God Make Me Funky is seriously sampled by N.W.A. Like Dre, I guess, is that guy." And
Yeah.
then I at this point in the late '80s and '90s, I was completely immersed in New York. You know, the thing about New York is you can have a really great career right here in New York playing jazz, and you're not going to get famous. Nobody will even know what you're doing, but you're so happy because you're playing damn near every night, you know.
Yeah.
And so I was in that. I was completely submerged in this scene here, and unless I go to Europe and stuff like that, but that was all jazz too. So I didn't really listen to rap or hip hop. I mean, I'd hear it here and there, but I didn't pay much attention to it. And then they called it to my attention on this Herbie gig I was on. The guy did, and I found out that we were seriously sampled. Now we've never had a payday. We've had all kind. We've had several lawyers try to unwind it. We have a guy looking at it now. So, Vibe magazine. Somebody wanted to do an interview with me from Vibe magazine, and I'm like, okay, sure. Um, so nice cat. So we're talking, and he says, "Oh man, you must be really honored that your drumming has such a strong presence in the hip hop community. You know, it doesn't anymore. There's a whole different thing going on now, but this was during that time period." And I remember, and they printed this in Vibe. I said, "Well, I dug the cred, but I'd rather have the bread." Man, your daughter, all those cats ripped us off. You know,
Yeah.
is it Ice T or Ice Cube? One of those cats, that kind of sick dude, not the guy that plays the cop, but the movie star guy. All those cats in that scene burned us. You know, they took our stuff and never paid us a dime, never asked us about it. I just found out we're on Maria Maria, my drums for Santana. I didn't know that either. Nobody has brought that to my attention. And if you go to Who Samples Who and bring my name up, or better yet, the Headhunters, you'll see that we've really been sampled to death.
Yeah,
And
like hundreds, or if not thousands. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
I've seen those pages online. It's that those tracks are like there's just never ending like lists of where they pop up, and even when it's
yeah.
subtle.
Nobody's ever asked me the permission, or any of us, and we've never. So it's really weird, and of course there's a statute of limitations and all, and then a bunch of legal BS when you try to talk to guys about it. Nobody wants to take it on in commission, but you know, my retirement would be up in there. That's for sure. Not, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm gonna play till I die if I'm lucky anyway. But I mean, I'm playing. I'm playing because I love playing, but I'm also working still. I'm making money. I'm making a living. And if I had the kind, if they had paid us, you know, I could chill out a little taste.
Yeah. Well, like I
But
said, I mean,
anyway, it is what it is. You know, I'm
yeah.
good.
I mean, you've like I said, you've had just an like such an impact on that style, that history of that side of music. So I mean, I of course I think there's a lot of credit due there from those artists, but it is such a beautiful thing to see the way they flip the songs and like create something new out of them. I mean, do you have a particular favorite? Have you heard a sample of yours that you particularly like the treatment of, or have you not dug into that so much?
I haven't dug into it so much, but I've definitely heard most of a lot of the stuff that we've been sampled, and I definitely don't hate hip hop or anything like that. Like I hear things all the time. Yeah, I don't know which one it was, but I was watching a movie one time and I heard one of my. I said, "Man, that's got to be me," and it turned out it was. I forget which group, but it was killing. I mean, what they did to it was great. What they did to it was better than what I did to it. They made it sound better than it was. I admit it. I liked it, man.
Yeah.
So it was cool. But once again, like for that movie, Straight Outta Compton, they contacted us and wanted to use God Make Me Funky. And it was a small amount of money, like $35,000 to be split between 5 cats. And we said, sure, man. At this point, we just wanted some justice. And so they were already signed the contract. And the last minute, we stopped hearing from them. They put the movie out. And there's a place where the guy that plays Dre hands his buddy an album of Survival of the Fittest, which is where they got God Make Me Funky from.
Yeah.
And but they didn't play the track, so they didn't have to pay us. So it's a constant stamp.
Oh, okay.
You know? Yeah.
Damn.
And they don't owe us because they didn't use it, but it just shows you if somebody like Sony or whoever put that movie out a huge. No wonder they got so much money, man. You know what I mean? They can afford to keep putting out art because they rip off artists. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, like I said, the credit's due. I mean, the influence is just it's right there to see. But it's so I hope as you continue to pursue the legal side of it, you get your what's due. But obviously, on just the legacy of it, there's so much credit to be given. But
I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bitter. I'm having a great career and a great life. I'm one of the lucky guys, man.
Yeah.
But to not say anything about it would also be immoral.
Yeah.
You know, I okay, if you're gonna burn me, all right, fine. But I'm gonna say something.
Yeah. No. I mean, I still love hip hop, but I get where you're coming from. It's just interesting to hear about. You know, it's interesting to hear it straight from the origin. You know.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure it is interesting to hear. I mean, it's like I hear other guys that have had a similar experience, and then I know other guys that recorded another guy's tune and another guy's record, and they were sampled, and they got big paychecks, and it's not even their tune, and they took it from another guy's record. They didn't steal it like a jazz artist would. Oh, let's play this tune by so-and-so on my new record.
Yeah.
And they would. And so it goes down fortune is a fleeting thing. You never know, how things are going to roll. I might meet the right guy, and he might know how to confront these companies and get a settlement or something. You never know.
Yeah.